about how I got out of creationism, but this episode is all about getting into it in the first place. Basically, I have always been in church all my whole life, virtually born in the church, and when you're raised in the church, you're told things that you're just supposed to accept. The world is 6,000 years old. It was created in 6 little days, and you draw little pictures, diagrams of the sun on day 4, and sun, moon, and stars, and all that wonderful stuff, and how man was created on day 6, and there was a big flood, and as a child I was very proud because I made my own cardboard Noah's Ark that I made at home, and I took it to church, and everybody loved it, and wow, and I had all these little toy giraffes and rhinos and things, and yeah, so you just told things like, that Jesus is coming again, and one day there's going to be a one world government, Lucifer's going to sit on the throne of God, and that's just normal, that's just how things are, that's just, yeah, and everybody outside of the church is evil and destined for hell, and the main focus of a Christian's life is to lead the lost unto salvation and, save them from the pits of hell. And the story goes that if you see a man fall down a pit and there's no ladder, and you've got to literally form a line of Christians down the hole and pull this lost sinner out of the hole and, drag him out of the pit and blah, 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 blah. So, it's like when I was in high school, I didn't take science seriously. Why should I? I mean, it's all lies. I didn't even focus on chemistry or Newton's laws or anything. I was still like, okay, this is science. This is what the world believes. This has nothing to do with me, so I'm not going to study for this subject, I wasted all that time. I do remember drawing really pretty diagrams of motion and things like that, but I just didn't give a crap about what was being taught. And I vaguely remember mentions of ape-like ancestors, but obviously my brain shut off, and sitting exams, it wasn't something I wanted to achieve any part of, so I did better in English and maths. So I went to university and I studied theology, had a nervous breakdown. At this point, I was told that even theology itself was going to lead me away from Christ, down a dark path that I didn't want to go down, so I didn't focus on the lectures. I got 2 things out of theology. I got Hebrew and I got Greek, and the rest was all lies told by theologians who didn't believe in God. And I was buying the enemy's books at this time, Spong and Boaz and all that sort of garbage, to fight a war that didn't exist. The war of theologians leading Christians to hell. Yeah, I had a very fucked up life. Yeah, I did. Yeah. So, around the time of university is when I found out about Ken Ham, and You know, went to all the seminars he had in New Zealand, in Auckland. I'd follow him around like a, you know, when you're in primary school, like this one kid just follows you wherever you go, hoping that you'll be his friend. You know, I was like that with Ken Ham, and I had my cassette, my Walkman, and I recorded every lecture he gave, and I bought all his books and all his videos. This is before DVDs were even thought of. So magazines, Creation magazine. I've got the Bone of Contention magazine somewhere. I'm like pulling my whole spare room apart looking for it so I can debunk it now. But anyway, I bought, yeah, as much material as I possibly could, and I shared it with all my friends and taught all my friends. This is kind of like flat earth stuff. I taught all my friends all about the one world government, Antichrist, creation versus evolution, Mark of the Beast 666, blah 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 blah. And you know, it wasn't long before I discovered Chuck Missler a few years after this, because yeah, that was Windows 95. So yeah, my pride and joy was my Windows 95 computer. They had all the Chuck Missler MP3 CDs and things like that. So I had all the stuff, everything in the click of a button. If you want to learn about creation, you just watch. I gave people my headphones and I said, sit here and listen to this. That was my life. It was like, I want everyone to learn about this stuff. I want to start up classes, and I want to teach everybody this information. And I bought 6 old computers, and that was my vision, to have a room where people could just come and sit down and listen to, like the Scientology cult. It's like they listen to cassettes, records. I don't know, what do they listen to these days? MP3s, I suppose so. So anyway, yeah, that's what I wanted, a world where people could just come and hear the truth. All you have to do is listen to this Chuck Missler CD. Watch this Ken Ham video, read this book, and you'll be enlightened with the truth. You know, that the whole world is deceiving you. That was my thing, wasn't it? It was like, you're all blind. This is way before, like, the woken people. When the internet came out, there was this thing that these posts that you're all asleep. It's like, you've stolen that idea off me because I know you're all asleep. It was weird. I don't even know what became of that, but yeah, that was years ago. Anyway, so I was totally into Ken Ham, read his books cover to cover, memorized them, and I had one problem. That I totally ignored, because I was living as a male back then, and so I was living as a gay male back then, and obviously Ken Ham's and Chuck Missler's, thing was like homosexuality is a sin, because if you walk away from God, you can be free to become a homo. I know, that's the words they use. You're free to become worldly and get tattoos and grow your hair long and have piercings in your ears. Sarcastic bitch. Piercings in your nose and become homosexual. And that's only the people that do that only do that because they've walked away from God. So then, like, fast forward like 2 decades, like Christians are coming out with tattoos and piercings. It's like, it's a really confusing world. It's like, you guys are supposed to be having those tattoos because you walked away from God, and yet you're in church with tattoos. It's confusing. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, the whole thing, mid 1990s, you know, oh bloody hell, gay conversion therapy, casting out of demons, getting rid of the demon of homosexuality. And Barry Smith was harping on about how when Christ comes, the whole planet will be gay, just like in the days of Noah, they were all queer. That's why God flooded the planet. No, they were marrying and giving in marriage. Okay. But the thing is, they're not marrying and giving in marriage in the last days because they're all gay. That was his point. Yes, I know. So, yeah, so I obviously couldn't. My brain couldn't accept the fact that maybe being gay was good. I can't even say it. Maybe being gay was a thing. Maybe it was like, you know, just normal. No, your brain doesn't, you're being brainwashed. You can't think like that. You can't think like that. So anyway, this is hard, I know. So I want to focus on, in these episodes, I want to focus on the psychology of coming out of a false mindset, creationism. Yeah. I'm not going to go into any technical creation versus evolution debates or information or whatever. This is just how my mind tried to cope with being taught lies my whole entire life, and then suddenly waking up. Shit, exactly. So yeah, so I struggled with it, and to be honest, the only way I could work in my mind that I was gay and gay was evil was to create a fictional version of God in my head. So I created this giant synagogue that looked like a coliseum, and they all worship this great golden teaspoon, and I gave all Christianity to this golden teaspoon, so I could question the golden teaspoon. I couldn't question God. So this Colosseum Great Golden Teaspoon cult that I created in my head did all sorts of horrible, horrific things to children. And that was my brain trying to, because you've got to understand cognitive dissonance. I was believing one thing and living the complete opposite of what I believed. So my mind was trying to cope with that. So the only way I could do it was to create this false fictional universe, which I'm really good at. I mean, that's my thing. If you any traumatized children would know that creating fictional universes and living in fantasy world is an escape, is the way out. It's the way out. If you can't physically defend yourself against an adult, you go into your brain and you just create fictional worlds. I mean, that's the thing. So again, it's very similar. So here's these adults that teach children that the world is 6,000 years old, created in 6 literal days, Noah's flood's a thing, that the order of creation is completely messed up, but it must work because the Bible says it. And so you don't question it forever. So yeah, so we're questioning being gay, so I've created this fictional church cult thing so I can be gay in that world. Actually, yeah, it wasn't until years later that I came out trans in my fictional golden teaspoon cult world, and then I came out as trans in real life. So I have a situation where I meet Chuck Missler in the picture theatre, and I'm completely dressed as myself as a woman, and he doesn't recognise me, and I kind of don't speak to him, don't say hello, because again I was again him groupie. I was a Chuck Missler groupie. Chuck Missler moved to our country, followed him everywhere he went with my cassettes, my Walkman, and recorded all his sessions, especially the one where he tips the 666 upside down and turns it into the word for Allah. That was weird. It's like, because like, you got to understand, I believed every word these people said, that they couldn't tell a lie. They couldn't tell a lie. So why question them? And this was the only thing I ever had a funny feeling about. Like, now Allah's the Antichrist. It's like, okay, you've changed the Antichrist from being the Pope to being Allah. It just doesn't compute. My brain's struggling with this new information that you're telling me. Anyway, so yeah, so I wasn't thinking clearly, I wasn't thinking properly. I did everything normal people do. It's just that I believed the funniest things you could ever think of. Just like flat earthers. Yeah, exactly. I'm just wondering, like, if a flat earther was to start to believe in gravity, I don't know if they actually really believe the crap that they say, because the mentality of believing the earth is flat is the same as believing it's 6,000 years old, created in 6 days. It's just wrong. But I'm wondering, when they come out of that, if their brain would just like pop out of their skull like mine did just a couple of weeks ago. I don't know, if they're just like, phew, go crazy, because like, oh my god, it's all a lie. But I don't know, it's similar in some ways, but I don't believe that they really believe totally 100% in their flat earth belief. It could be just, there's just being silly, that, I don't know. Anyhow, so I began to investigate churches that accepted you as being both gay and being a Christian. But by the time I found the church that accepted that, I had come out as transgender. So we're at the point where the church saw me as a homosexual man, deliverance, demons cast out, anointed with oil, prayer warriors, speaking in tongues, prayer, warfaring in tongues, blah, 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 blah. Fine level, like, that's okay. But then you come out as trans and it's like, oh, we just can't deal with that. It's like, I'm sorry, that does not compute. You're just too evil for us. Please leave. We're trying to cure you from your homosexuality, and now you're coming out as even worse. We've we've failed in our job of curing you. Oh my gosh! And now you've gone worse. I know I laugh about it, but this is horrific stuff. It's real abuse. It really is abuse. of the worst kind. Anyway, so I've joined the MCC, Metropolitan Community Church, totally having fun there, just being me, dressing up as wild as I want, you know. Oh, it was so much fun. But for some reason, I still tried to keep going to C3 or Living Waters or Elam. And it was like, I don't know why I did it. Why did I do it? It's like, I would be happy at the MCC, right? And, you know, and then I thought, well, I better go back to a real church. I know that, I know how stupid that sounds, but that was my thinking. I was just really messed up. So I better go back to my normal church kind of thing. And I would isolate myself from people there. I'd just sneak in, I'd do the worship thing, listen to the boring sermons, and then go home depressed. So yeah, that's when I got to the point where I went to Living Waters. I put my hand on the door handle of the church. I could not turn the door handle. I could not turn the door handle. I walked home and I cried and I cried and I cried. And I've never been back to a Pentecostal charismatic type church since, except for the little home church in Rotorua, which was bizarre, absolutely bizarre. They're all into warfaring in tongues and prophecy, and they would prophesize all over me, but they didn't know that I was sinning, I was being transgender, that they should be focusing on that. And I didn't show myself. I never came, you know, I never attended any of that. Except for my pink socks. I never showed any signs of being transgender at all. Because you couldn't. Because they were referred to you as male. Even though you're not. You know, it's like they don't give a crap what you think you are. You're biologically male. So we're going to say, sir, mister, would you like some more pizza, mister? Oh my god, I know, it was so bad, it was so horrible. Anyway, so going to MCC, having a time of my life, still struggling with the issue of being gay and being Christian. And so we began to study the so-called clobber verses, and we did studies on it. And over 2 years, I began to slowly start to change my mind that, you know, I tried to, because this is the Word of God we're talking about. The Word of God says you can't be gay. So then the Word of God, what's the word? It counteracts anything a theologian would say or a Bible scholar would say, or anything that, I've forgotten her name, sorry Virginia Mollencott, sorry Virginia Mollencott, I forgot your name there. Anything she wrote about, the Bible trumps that. Yeah. So yeah. So I still struggled, even though I was completely away from the dark side of the church, which is the you can't be gay and be a Christian church. I call that the dark church, which is the majority of church. You know, we're talking Brian Tamaki, Peter Mortlock. The rest are all dead now. Barry Smith's dead. Chuck Missler died. Ken Ham still go. Okay, yeah. Yeah, you know what I mean. Anyway, sorry, I don't wish death on Ken Ham. Oh my god, I'm gonna have so much fun, like pulling him apart. But never mind. So, wow. Alright, so I was studying scripture in the original languages, and I went back to do theology at Christchurch University. Somehow, this is now, I'm talking about how I came out of creationism. And it was this is the weirdest way to come out of creationism, but it was the only way. Thinking about it now, this is the only way I could have ever come out of it. The only way. The only way. There is no other way. If you want to write a book about how to come out of a cult mentality, there are no rules. This was the only way for me. Somehow, well, YouTube, obviously, I was studying the Bible in Greek and Hebrew and all that, and I came across, what do you always come across when you're learning Greek and Hebrew on YouTube and stuff? King James onlyism. Wow! So I came across a wonderful lecture by a wonderful lady called Gail Riplinger, who basically told me that all the Greek and Hebrew manuscripts were satanic, written by the Gnostics in an occult, symbolic language, and that they were evil. And for some stupid reason, again, well, that's obvious. She was on YouTube. She was an authority. She was a professor for 10 years. She knew what she was talking about. The fact that her degree was in baking had nothing to do with it. Sorry, home economics in our country, that would be like cooking or baking or something, knitting. Anyway, so for 3 days I bought into her shit and believed it totally, and I was going to throw out all my, oh my god, I have a collection of hundreds of dollars of Greek and Hebrew Bibles and study books and just, yeah, all my stuff from uni. I was going to throw it all out. Then luckily I found James White, and after watching a week of his videos on YouTube, I was like, oh my god, they lied to me. See, there you go. See, I was like, to come to the conclusion that somebody's told a lie in the name of Jesus, that was impossible. That was impossible. You don't, Christians don't lie. They don't tell lies. They're public speakers. They're pastors. They're teachers. They're leaders. They can't be dishonest. They can't tell lies. So I found a Christian that told a lie, and I spent the next 6 years just destroying her material, just like ripping it apart. And I've still got a book here, the New Age Bible versions, and every single page is littered with insults from me because I was hurt. I was hurt. Here's a Christian who told a lie. And so for the next 6 years, I just studied everyone that debunked the King James only movement. It was mainly James White, really. 6 years of James Whiting. He was going up against Sam Gipp and the guy who said that Benny Hinn was satanic. I've forgotten his name. Paul Creek Ministries. Anyway, I've forgotten the guy's name. Don't care. I fell in love with the guy that, I've forgotten his name, I'm sorry, but anyway, he's scanned all the New Testament manuscripts and that's where I spend all my research time digging through those manuscripts. Wow, they're all in black and white, but yeah, what I did was I downloaded them and I made my own copies in Photoshop, and I would colorize them and study those because they were more interesting. Anyway, so yeah, studying Dead Sea Scrolls and then the papyri and all that sort of stuff, and then had a little bit of a go at learning Coptic and that, but really need to find a proper class on how to. Yeah, there are YouTube tutorials, but yeah. Anywho, so we're yeah, I've been watching everybody debunking King James only movement, James White and that other lady, I've forgotten her name now. This is years ago. It's like her whole entire life was dedicated to attacking, ripping apart Gal Ripplinger. And yeah, so we've got the transition time. So one of the most well-known King James onlyists, apart from Stephen L. Anderson, is Kent Hovind. So here's James White pulling apart my idol, Kent Hovind, because of Kent Hovind's belief that all other versions apart from the King James Bible are evil. And here's a Christian questioning another Christian. They're fighting each other. Oh my God. Wow. One of them has to be wrong. Here's two authorities. One has to be wrong and one has to be right. What do you do when you're raised to believe that no Christian would ever tell a lie, and then you find one does? It's a very conflicting time of your life. It's very conflicting. So, oh my God. So I dropped the King James only. Got bored with that. Didn't get bored with it. I had come to the conclusion that Kent Hovind was wrong, and so I moved on to something else. Once I finished something, I drop it forever. Like now in real life, not real life. Now in 2019, modern life, whatever. It's like I can't look at any more flat Earth debunkers because I'm over it. I've achieved what I wanted to achieve watching all those videos, and now I've moved on. Okay, so 3, 4 years, 6 years of watching people debunking King James onlyism, went into the moon is a spaceship, bases on Mars, bases on the moon, bases under the water, these one world government train tracks running around the planet, hollow earth, just everywhere. I just went nuts. On conspiracy theories, just everything you can think of, sitting in a chair and traveling back and forth in time to the Gettysburg Address and Lincoln's assassination, whatever, JFK, 9/11, the whole shebang, every conspiracy theory you can think of, I studied, I watched, I learnt about, because my brain needed something to focus on and I couldn't find it, so I just went everywhere. Reptilians living in Area 51. I just went everywhere. And of course, yeah, I mean, I was a huge X-Files fan. This is crazy because in the 90s, season 1, 2, 3, 4, I believed that the X-Files, this will make you laugh, I believed that the X-Files was a true thing. That they were like Sci Factor. Don't know, it's a Canadian show, Sci Factor. I don't know if you've ever heard of it. That these were documented cases and they were just actors acting out real live cases. And that when the X-Files, by the time the X-Files finished, the Antichrist would have arrived in a UFO on planet Earth, and the world would have ended by the time the X-Files TV show had finished. The fact that it carried on after the supposed time when the Antichrist was supposed to land on Earth confused me. So I stopped watching it when T-1000 took over. John Connor. I've forgotten his name, you know who I mean. So when Scully and Mulder went the main characters, because obviously, you know, Barry Smith had said the Antichrist was going to arrive in 2000, January the 1st, 2000. That was the end of the world. So why is the X-Files still going after that? It just doesn't make sense. Then there was that guy who said Jesus was arriving in 2005, and he had 2005 reasons why Jesus was returning in 2005. So what's the point in planning the future of your life? Because Jesus was coming. There's no reason to live. No reason to focus on finances. No reason do you want a life. Don't be stupid. And then Chuck Missler, a few years after that, 2010, it was like, okay, Islam's the Antichrist. You know, we're all going to be killed by Islam. So there's no point in living. The Antichrist is going to be an imam or some guru of the Islamic religion? I don't know. Don't no longer care. If the Antichrist arrives in a spaceship tomorrow, I'll be like, oh God, I don't care. Just go away. Anyhow, so I'm fluttering around chasing every conspiracy theory under the sun, researching ghosts, goblins, chupacabras, what's it called? Cryptozoology, UFO sightings, UFO landings, UFO testimonies, possession, all sorts of things, just anything. Then I came across the Flat Earth debunkers. So back then, I really don't know what order to put them in, but it would have been... So the first ones would have been Rhetoric and Discourse, Cold Hard Logic. So that was March 3rd, 2014. There you go. It's the dates on the video. So 2014, so the earthquakes happened in Christchurch. I've left Christchurch. I'm living in Auckland, and I'm hitting Cool Hard Logic and studying anything I can find against the Flat Earth Society. Sorry, not the Flat Earth Society, the Flat Earth Movement. From 2014 to 2019, spent watching videos. Nothing but videos against Flat Earth. That's 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, that's 5 years. So that's 1 year less than I spent on the King James Only movement. Wow, that's a record. Maybe the next subject I latch on to, I'll only be 4 years on it. Anyhow, so watching all these people, nowadays it's Conspiracy Cats, Simon Dan, Sir Sick, Logic, the whole shebang, all of them. Back then, at the start of it, I included people like David Packman, Young Turks, etc., etc. So all sorts of people that touched on different bits, anything to do with the word Flat Earth. I don't know, because they were more about Pastor Manning and maybe so it wasn't just, the bulk of it was Flat Earth. Anyway, so Okay. In all these years, so that's 5 years studying anti-flat Earth or people who debunk flat Earth. In those 5 years, people like Godless Engineer and Sir Sick, Professor Stick, would bring up subjects about evolution. And what do you do when you're raised to believe that no Christian would ever tell a lie? You simply fast forward the bits where they attack creation. Absolutely attack creation. So this went on for 5 years. Every time Godless Engineer got to something to do with science, astronomy, it's okay to debunk the flat Earth, but if you're going to try and debunk my belief system, just watch it, Mr. Yeah, that's a no. That's a no. So just fast forward that bit. And I don't know how this happened. I really don't know how this happened. I do know how it happened, and I'm going to tell you how it happened. Somehow. Okay, so on the February the 15th this year, Vice Rhino decided to take on Matt Powell's new movie. And I listened. As a full-on creationist, believing that no Christian would ever lie, I listened to Vice Rhino debunking Matt Powell. And it's okay to debunk Matt Powell because he's an idiot. But it's okay to watch anybody debunk Matt Powell because he's a frickin' idiot. King James onlyist, super Christian lunatic. But amongst that, you also got Vice Rhino debunking Kent Hovind. And then I accepted maybe it's okay to debunk Kent Hovind because he's wrong about the King James Bible being the only word of God. Maybe he's wrong about his view on creation. So it's okay to debunk creation if Kent Hovind is involved, but not Ken Ham. You can't touch Ken Ham. So after I watched the series on movies so falsely called, there was the other one. Was it Apologia? Yeah, it would have been whoever debunked Eric Hovind's movie. Just let me have a look. Okay, so Apologia debunked Science of Genesis last year, March 26, 2018, but I didn't find out about that. Obviously, if anybody said anything about creationism before Vice Rhino did, I wouldn't have a clue because questioning that subject for me was an evil thought in my brain that needed to be exorcised. Exorcise the demon of questioning creation. So after I thoroughly opened up to Vice Rhino, I found Apologia and he debunked Eric Hovind's one. And there's a third one, which... is it a Ken Ham one? It's got all three from Answers in Genesis in it. Isn't that Eric Hovind's? It doesn't matter. So, anyway, so after watching Vice Rhino Apologia, I just woke up one morning and realised that the whole creation message was one big lie. So right then and then, on the spot, I renamed Ken Ham's book to From the Lie Evolution to the Lie Creationism. And my brain couldn't accept it. My brain just couldn't accept it. So I ended up in hospital. My brain just overloaded. It tried to make sense of what the hell I just found out about. I would say it was like finding out your best friend that you've had for 40 years just died right beside you, and you're just totally lost. You don't know what to do. You don't know which way is up. You don't know which way is down. Your whole world's just been torn apart. Everything you were raised to believe was a lie, is a lie. And my brain just tried to leave my skull. Just threw me into a massive panic attack, and I just couldn't handle it. I thought I was going insane. I was fighting against it. I was fighting against myself, ringing the ambulance. I didn't want to. It took people to talk me into ringing the ambulance. In fact, I didn't in the end. Somebody rang the ambulance for me. Spent all that time, got on my new medication, my amitriptyline again. Spending most of my days now just trying to think straight, trying to think clearly, trying to get my life back into a normal routine, just like making breakfast, making a cup of coffee, just simple things are a struggle for me right now, because my brain is going, what the hell do I do now? What the hell? Where's God? Who's God? What's a God? Is there a God? Oh my God. It's like, oh my God, I just threw out the whole of the Old Testament overnight. That's, I don't know, there's 66 books, however many there are in the Old Testament. Is there 40? I don't know. Threw out 40 odd books overnight. And my brain just flipped. Inverted. Went inside out. So my counsellor basically told me that I have this picture that, do I want to get into this now? I have this picture that one of my alters drew. If you can't handle alters, stop watching it now. Stop watching this video now. Of a well, a lid, a giant manhole cover on the top of a well, and in that well is just pure rage, just pure blackness, darkness, rage, and these huge bolts that are all now rusted broke off one by one. And the lid of the well is now completely off, so all I've got left is internal rage. Rage that's been turned inside myself for being gay and for other sins, is now coming out of me, and it's making me tired all the time. It's exhausting me. I just can't think straight, I can't think clearly, I don't have my brain back yet. It's in a mess, it's in a shambles. I'm going to use this energy to create these stories, and I'm going to use the rage to create stories with about people that walk around believing the most ridiculous things, and the more ridiculous thing that you believe, the more popular you are. The more popular you are, the more people worship you, the more people want to follow you, become one of your disciples. The crazier the theory, so crazier than creation, crazier than mud people. Actually, it's mud flood, but I like the concept that these mud flooders believe that there was a race of humans made out of mud. I think that would be cool as a story, not real. As a story, the early humans before Homo erectus and Australopithecus, there was like mud people. That would be a cool story, but that's nothing to do with. Well, it could be, but anyway, So the crazier things that you believe that the Earth is flat, that the Moon is flat, that the Sun is flat, that there's no such thing as space satellites don't exist, there's no such thing as oxygen, whatever. But the crazier you are, the more people worship you. That would be such a cool story. It's like the whole world is just full of these nut jobs, but the more nutty you are, the more in power you are, the more power you have over people when you become a member of parliament. You know, you become a leader in some form of government. But that's true. I know. I know. That's too close to the truth. But it has to be funny, it has to be silly. Like, Trump would have to believe that walls are made out of bananas, or that Mexicans are from another planet, or some weird shit like that. He probably does believe this stuff. It would have to be crazy cuckoo stuff, not just abortion saves children from hell, or whatever the fucking shit's going on. Yeah, I'm angry. So, oh my god. Yeah, so I want to use this. Okay, so I can't think clearly right now. I have to do things like focus on making breakfast. I have to do things like focus on going for a walk every day to clear my head. Doctor's orders. Now, you see this difference, because, you know, it's like taking my insulin for my diabetes. It's doctor's orders. You have to do it. So once a doctor, somebody in authority, gives me a command, an order, like a Christian leader tells you you must believe the world was 6,000 years old, it's okay to have that, to give that to a doctor, because you're trusting an adult to tell you something. But with doctors it's okay unless it's something you disagree with, and then you question the doctor. But I don't want to question the doctor. I want to go for a walk every day. I want to take my insulin every day, take my pills regularly again, get my life back into a routine. Then I'm going to use this anger I have at these Christian leaders who have lied to me all their life. So in Ken Ham's case, he's been lying to me for 30 odd years. You can't imagine. You can't imagine. Well, you've got to multiply that by 100. 100 people telling you lies for 30 years. And only one of them's gone to jail, and that was for tax fraud. I mean, he didn't pay his taxes. Whatever it was. I don't care. Oh my god. So, yeah, Christians are holy, Christians don't lie, and yet they've been lying to you for 30 odd years. Hundreds of them. Oh my god. Anyway, can't deal with it. No, because then you're throwing yourself into a panic again. Okay, calm down. Just calm down. So I'm going to take that energy and I'm going to use it to create my story about my little superhero girl. She's incredible. She has these immense superpowers. I'm not going to put out any spoilers, but she could crush Superman between her fingers. She's that powerful. Plus, the silly one. I want to focus on the silly one. It's like these people that believe the stupidest, nuttiest things. It would be so cool. Actually, because, again, back when I was struggling with being gay and being a Christian, I had the righteous Christians walking upside down on the ceiling of the world, the firmament, and I had LGBTQ people, whether they were Christian or not, because you're not allowed to be both in the Christian world, according to the couple. I forgot their names, don't care. You know who I'm talking about? They have a show where they say you can't be LGBT and Christian, and being gay and being Christian is like being a Christian pornographer or Christian thief. It's like, whatever. Christian truth is an oxymoron. Shut up. I said that out loud. Yeah, ending the video now. So, yeah, my direction is going to be studying the crap out of evolution for a start, because I want to know the truth. I'm now totally focused on learning what is true, and I'm not going to get the answers I want because there's no diagram that says this specific animal turned into this specific animal or whatever. It's like it's a tree. It's full of leaves and branches and twists and turns. So you'll never get the... See, in the Bible you've got Adam was the father of Bluke, and Bluke was the father of Glackle, and Glackle was the father of Gadwell. You won't get the evolution tree unless you study it for years and years and years and years and years, and then maybe a hippopotamus turned into a smurf. I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, focusing on learning evolution. All the books that I bought, that were the enemy's books. I've got Origin of I bought, when I was a creationist, I bought The Origin of a Species, A Blind Watchmaker, and all those types of books because I had the enemy's books to prove that these evil men, like Richard Dawkins, I've forgotten their names, oh my god, Charles Darwin, oh come on Hugh, you watch Hugo Jake every day. Like Dawkins and Sagan. So Carl Sagan, Richard Dawkins, etc. were the enemy, Bishop Spong, and I had the enemy's books. And here's proof that these men are writing these books to lead people into hell. That's why the only reason why they wrote these books was to lead people to hell. And then you come across Aaron. This is the hardest one of them all. This is the one that put me in hospital. Because I should have stopped right then and there. But then I went on from there to Aaron Ra, saying there is no devil, there is no hell. And that was the straw that broke the camel's back. The straw that broke the camel's back, because I should have stopped at, okay, creationism is a lie. But I'm like a dog with a bone, and I had to go on and on. I had to come across Aaron Ra on the same night. So after having a panic attack, I come across Aaron Ra. It makes it even worse. And I end up in hospital. And I'm going to explain all that clearly in episode 2. I don't blame Aaron Ra, of course not. Or Matt Dillahunty, whatever. I thank them. Yeah, I mean, apology, I thank them for bringing me out of this crap, out of creationism. But I'm just saying that my brain couldn't handle it. My brain coming to the conclusion that everything I've been told is a lie. My brain just shut down, reboot. It couldn't even Windows 95 reboot. It tried to reboot and it couldn't. It got stuck in DOS. My brain got stuck in DOS. Oh my god, and they had to reboot my brain in the hospital. Yeah, so anyway, I will explain all this more clearly and more accurately in part 2. This is just a big, long ramble to get this out so I can start to piece it together, put it in a neat little file in my brain, and save that file as I just come out of the biggest pile of bullshit ever. If there's no Genesis, if Adam and Eve weren't real, Moses wasn't real, I'm not gonna say the next sentence. No, I can't. I'm gonna believe Jesus is real until my brain can think. Okay? Because I don't want to say those words. Right, I'll leave it there. Thank you for watching. Tune in part 2. Bye.